So what we're going to do for the practice today is going to be a very gentle practice. My body is still recovering from the virus, which was really strong. And it will be a combination of gentle movements and maybe some positions and some postures that we will be more like a restorative postures that we will be holding for a little bit longer. And I will be kind of leading you through some breathing exercises. We'll start with just coming into mindfulness of breath, just feeling the breath in the body, like really trying to access the breath in the entirety of it through the back of the body as well as the front and the sides. And then to begin with, the practice could be done on your backs, completely on your backs, just lying down in Shavasana, or you can kind of bring a bolster behind you, and I'll show you how to set up with the bolster. And you can choose to start the practice here. If you do have a bolster at home, you can decide how much height you want to bring underneath the bolster. Normally, what happens if you're recovering from any type of mucus-based virus, it might be very difficult to actually lie completely on your back. So the little bit of the raised back would really help in terms of accessing the different parts of your lungs that might feel a little bit unavailable when you lie flat on your back. So you can have, if you don't have a bolster, you can just roll a blanket or just have some cushions underneath you. And then you can take a couple of blocks or again, cushions or whatever you might have handy at home to support the outside of your thighs. So you're going to sit, I'm going to sit at the edge of this bolster. I'm just going to shuffle down and bring the soles of the feet together and take the legs out to the sides like this. And maybe just hold on to the bolster as you slowly bring your back down onto it. I'm going to roll the shoulders just a few times, one direction, and then change direction. Please don't mind me if I get into a coughing match with myself. I'm still finding it battling the last bits of the cough. So what I want us to pay attention to here, after maybe a few moments as the body starts to settle in this position, just notice how the breath feels like. Maybe the breath feels a little bit labored. Maybe it's shallow. Just notice how the breath feels like without wanting or needing to change it, just gonna pay attention to it. And as you pay attention to the breath, just notice how, where you feel the breath. Is it really like local in your throat or a little bit deeper across the chest? Can we maybe even slowly push the breath down a little bit towards the abdomen? Maybe just placing one hand somewhere on your belly and see whether you can move the palm of your hand with the breath. If you are recovering from any type of illness and you do get into coughing, that's okay. Slowly bring your awareness back to kind of like pushing the breath back down towards the belly. And as the body slowly starts to settle here, breathing a little bit lower into the belly. What we're going to do now is to maybe take both of your hands and hold the sides of the rib cage and see whether you can, again, breathe into the palms of your hands. So breathe into the sides of the rib cage, the sides of your body. Really, from the right to the left, see whether you can expand the breath out the sides of your rib cage. You can exhale even out of your mouth. Soften your face and your jaw as you do this, but allow the shoulders to relax. Now what I want you to imagine, you might not be able to touch with your hands this place because you're lying with your back. But I want you to kind of imagine your hands are placed on the back of your rib cage, just behind your chest. You can probably feel it against the bolster or the floor if you're lying on the floor. So imagine your hands are there, and I'm gonna ask you to breathe into the back of your body. Now, sometimes, again, if you're recovering from an illness which was heavy on your chest, this could feel quite difficult when you're this way around. In which case, what you can do is to actually lie on your belly. So give yourself a little bit of belly time. You can hold the bolster so you can kind of come into a raised child's pose position. So you can take the take the blocks underneath your bolster and kind of pull that bolster between your legs. You can have the head one side and then try the other side, or just have the forehead in line with your spine. And what we're going to do again, so this is where our concentration is going to go into the back of the rib cage, which coincidentally, the majority of the lungs will sit. So the majority of our lungs is not in front of our body, even though when we breathe in and out, our concentration or our attention normally is through the front of the body. The majority of your lungs sit at the back of your ribcage. So that's where we're going to access the bigger portion of the lungs. So I'm going to breathe into the back and then soften as you exhale. Breathe into the back. Soften as you exhale. And continue with that breath. Again. If you're in that child's pose with your head turned to one direction, after a few rounds with your head to one direction, you can turn your head to the other direction. And just concentrate on your efforts with the breath in the back of your body and expand it out towards the side of the ribcage again. And this breath really saved me on the nights that I couldn't really breathe very well throughout this illness. And calmed my nervous system. One more round of this breath. Breathing into that back line. Softening as you exhale. Okay. So slowly start to come back up. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to either lie on your back or you can lie on the bolster again. And I'm going to take a belt or a resistance band, whichever one that feels okay for you. And I'm going to do a bit of leg stretches. Again, as I said, you can be on a little bit of an incline on the bolster, or you can have the back completely against the floor. Okay, on your backs. And we're going to take the right foot, off of the floor. You can interlace your hands in front of that right shin. Maybe just turn that right ankle a few times one direction, just nice and easy. Get some movement into that ankle joint. And then change direction. Point and flex your right foot. Meanwhile, just keep connecting your attention to your breath. You can add a little bit of height underneath your sitting bones if it feels like really tight, to have the kind of put a knee into the chest with the hips down on the floor. You can raise the hips a little bit. And then we're going to take the belt to the sole of that right foot and lift that right leg up. So give enough belt to both of your hands, right hand and left hand. So you're not straining with your arms. Reach that right leg all the way up. Press the ball of the foot into the band. Take a moment or two here. Again, you can kind of add a little bit extra flexion to the back of that heel, be your calf muscle into the back of that leg. You can extend the left leg forward if it feels nice. And bring the elbows down, drop the shoulders down, so no tension built up into the tops of the shoulders, into your throat and into your face. Just keep the top of the shoulders down, keep your face soft, keep your throat soft, keep your breath expansive. And then you can rebend that left knee, bring the left foot onto the mat, give both sides of the band to your right hand, and slowly start to open that right leg out to the right. And then once you feel like, okay, I'm kind of hitting a stretch to the inner thigh, you can bring the leg back up and take it out to the side again and bring it back up. Not holding the stretch here, we're just really bringing a little bit of movement. Just 3-4 times extra on this side. Last one. Maybe every time you go a little bit further down, and then you can bring it back up. Release the foot down onto the floor. Take a moment or two here. Just place both feet down on the ground. See how everything feels. Okay, then I'm gonna hug the left knee into the chest, turn the left ankle a few times, one direction, and then change direction. Just get a bit of movement into your body. When your body is recovering from an invasion, which what it feels like when you're attacked by a virus. Even small movements, even movements like just circling the ankle could feel quite strong. So just go with what feels right for you. And then we're going to take the belt or the band to the sole of the foot and reach the leg up to the ceiling. Take a breath or two and just really enjoy that stretch through the back of the leg. Maybe go for a little bit more as I'm forcing that flexion a little bit through the back of the leg, back of the heel into the calf, into the back of my hamstring. What I'm doing is kind of stretching the back of the leg, but I'm being mindful that this tension is not built through the arms into the shoulders, into my face. So I'm keeping the tops of the shoulders relaxed. You can drop the elbows if it feels like reaching the arms up is too strenuous for the arms. And then you can extend that right leg forward if it feels okay. Just a couple of more breaths. Rebend that right knee, bring the right foot onto the mat if it's not already there. Give both sides of the band to your left arm. And again, we're going to open that left leg out to the left and bring it back to the center. Oh, I'm going to do that for like 6 or 7 times. Every time you go out, maybe you go a little bit deeper, but it shouldn't really overpower. Go where it feels okay. That stretch, inner thigh stretch. You can bend the knee if you need to. A couple more. And you move with the breath. The last one. Hold it for a second or two. And bring it back up to the center. And release the leg. Okay. Take a moment or two in that center. You can sigh out. And this is your practice. So just do what feels right in your body today. In this center, just notice how this little movements have made you feel, have made the body feel. And then, if you can, take everything out from underneath you. I'm going to do a twist. And I'm going to give you a couple of options to do that twist. So you can take the bolster or pillows or whatever and place it on the right side of your body. So if you can't really lie on your back, what you can do with this twist, you can take the bolster against your right hip and you can take the legs kind of like a 90, well, it's not very 90, it's like maybe 60 here. So the bolster will kind of press against the right hip and your legs are more or less in the 60 degrees. And then you're going to start to turn your chest towards the bolster and you're going to bring the belly down onto the bolster and bring the head down. And this is a really nice restorative twist that you can stay maybe about 2 minutes on each side. So we'll hold one side for 2 minutes and then we'll do the other side for 2 minutes. If you can lie on your back, I'll show you another option, which is probably a little bit more of a leg stretch with the spinal twist. Okay, so we're going to lie on our back. You can take your belt. And I'm going to do the right leg first. So hug the right knee into the chest. Take the belt over your foot, your right foot, and then give both sides of the belt to your left. Okay, so right leg up, holding it with the left arm. Now, I slowly start to extend the left leg forward. I'm going to take that right leg. You can take your right thumb to the top of that right hip, press the top of the hip away from you and roll it out. And then you're going to take the leg out to the side towards the left side of your body. It's a little bit of a stronger outer hip stretch. And then you're going to slowly bring this into your spine. You can't keep that left knee bent. Bringing this into the spine. You can also park the leg now. Once it's kind of come all the way to the other side, you can park it on something. So a block, bolster, to give you a little bit more of a restful rotation into the spine. This might feel a little bit strong, specifically if you're, again, if you can't really breathe really well, this twist might make you feel like your respiratory system is under a little bit of a restraint. So that's why I showed you the first option. Even in this option, what you can do, if you feel like, okay, you can't really breathe very well from here, a trick is to get a little bit more of, breath connection in your inhalation. So, and what you can do is to almost round your spine. So you can take the right arm off of the floor and round towards the left side. So you can almost come out of the twist on your inhale and breathe into the back of your body on that inhalation. So you get a good expansion through that right side of the lung in this left twist. And then on the exhale, you turn towards the ground again. So you release that right arm out and use exhale. Again, you inhale, you round a little bit. And you exhale, you come back into your twist. But in this way, you're restoring your lung capacity as well. If you are doing the first option, change sides. Last time, if you're on your back, the leg to the other side. And then we're going to release and come back to the center. Just before you move to the other side, just give yourself a moment. Just notice how everything feels. And then we'll go to the other side. Okay, so hug the left knee into the chest. Take the belt over your foot. So maybe you go for the straight leg first, so you straighten that right leg and you slowly start to take the left leg across your body towards the right. Again, you can use a bolster or a block to hit that leg onto something. That could be quite a lot of rotation for the spine, in which case you can kind of come out of it as you breathe in. And breathe into the back of your body, the left lung on this side. Exhale and turn towards the floor again. Go into that twist. Ooh. Nourishing that left lung. A couple more like this. Turning. Maybe you can, after a few rounds of the breath, you can just let the body surrender slightly. Back to the center where you're ready. Just notice bringing the feet down, Just notice how this twist impacted your body. And then we're going to roll to one side or over the spine if that's within your wheelhouse today, to roll over the spine or to one side. And we're going to make it onto the hands and knees. Okay, so you can take a couple of blocks underneath your hands to give yourself a little bit more space away from the floor. I'm just gonna go through maybe 4 or 5 rounds of cat and cow, but do it really, really slowly. There's no rush. Okay, so and really feel the movement kind of developing across the spine from the pelvis, really going through the spine, one vertebra at a time, really feeling that within the breath. You might actually take 2-3 rounds of a breath to complete one cycle of the movement. So no rush. So I'm going to start the movement from here. I'm going to come into my cat position, really feeling that movement coming into the spine. And then once it kind of goes through the tops of the spine, I'm going to lift the chin up. I can even kind of take my head from side to side, really lifting the chin up. Emerging out of this movement with the head. And then again, start the movement from the pelvis. So not from your chin, start the movement from the pelvis. Slowly start to round through the spine, one vertebra at a time. And then once you hit towards the top part of the spine, you let the crown of the head down. And really push down through the arms to find a little bit more lift and arch against the spine. And this might feel really actually difficult, as I said, especially if you've been spending a lot of time sedentary or in bed. Even this little movement might feel like quite a lot. So go slowly. Again, round one vertebra at a time. Come all the way, releasing the crown of the head. And then repeat again. You can add any type of movement to this. You can wag your tail, you can move your head, whatever feels right, just go for it. So continue with this with your breath. Oh. Nice. Couple of more. Last one. Pulling that chest forward, then rounding. Okay. Now let's take the blocks a little bit lower. If you were on the block with the hands on the medium length of the blocks, so maybe you go to the smaller length of the blocks and reach the right leg all the way back. Sorry, left leg. Reach the left leg all the way back. Pull the heel of the foot back, just get into the back of that leg a little bit. And then lift that left leg behind you. Just maybe hold it there for another breath. And then let's take it out to the side. So take the left leg out to the side. Roll the outside of the foot down towards the floor. So we are not to the inside of the foot. We are kind of really have the entirety of the sole of the foot pressed down to the ground. So you're kind of lifting that inner thigh seam of that left leg up. Okay, so we're not collapsing into it. And then I'm going to push the hips back towards the heel of that right foot and come back up forward again. Nice and gentle movement back and forth. Getting a little bit more stretch across that left side of the body, left inner thigh. Left kidney. So really taking your attention here. Breathe into this section. Just a few more. Nice, one last time. Now this time, as I come forward, I'm going to reach the left arm forward and open the chest out. And then going to take the chest back parallel to the ground and push the hips back. So the left arm, you can bring the left arm back down. If it's too much, keep it grounded. If you want to make it a little bit more connected to the shoulder, to the core, to the inner thigh, you lift the left arm off of the floor. Again, you're going to reach it forward, open the chest out to the left, turn it back towards the floor. You can take the left hand down or keep it reached forward as you push back. One more time. Forward. Open it out to the left. Back towards the ground. So turn, push back. Then keep breathing into that left corner. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the blocks back a little bit and see whether I can kind of come up a little bit. So see whether you can push your hips, that specifically that right hip, behind the heel of that right foot. If it doesn't come down to the floor, you can kind of like slide a block or a cushion underneath your hip to lift your body up. So I've slid a block underneath that right hip now to be able to kind of sit up a little bit more. So the block is really underneath my right buttocks only. So the left one could kind of drop down to the floor if it wishes to. So it's only underneath the right side. And I'm kind of choosing a softer block, not these cork blocks, so it doesn't poke me. You can use a cushion, okay? So, or you can see whether you can drop the hip down to the ground. And it's just taking my time to kind of see if my body can find this shape. To be quite honest with you, yesterday when I did this practice, which was the first time me moving after this illness, my body felt way, way stiffer. So even to sit in this position, it was quite challenging. So what I did, I used the block underneath my knee and I used the cushion underneath myself. So I gave myself the props that my body needed in order to feel a little bit more supported. So see where you are today and see what you need in terms of props and support. Just take a breath or two. As you come up, I'm going to slide the left hand towards the left ankle and turn my chest away from my leg. I can take that arm, right arm over the head. Take a breath or two. can rest that left elbow onto your thigh, or you can kind of have a block and have the elbow onto the block or your bolster. One more breath, just really finding a little bit more length across that right side, the right side of the chest, the right lung, the right kidney area. And I'm going to come out of it. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a forward fold. So I'm going to take that block from under my sitting bone. I'm going to bring this right sitting bone down to the floor. It might mean that I have to release that right heel from the, like the, the groins area and bring it a little bit more, maybe align it with that left knee. Again, as I said, if that right knee doesn't go all the way down to the floor, bring a block or something underneath. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my belt and take it over that right foot, say left foot, extended leg. I'm going to use, not going to be too powerful through my arms, but I'm going to use my arms to allow my chest to turn a little bit towards that left foot. Okay, so I'm not going to overpower, but I'm going to use the hands, the arms, to turn the chest towards that left leg. There's like a quarter of a turn towards the left. And again, maybe just this is where I stay and breathe into the back line. So specifically, I'm interested on that right side connection from the right kidney to the right side of the right lung. I'm going to take my awareness and attention, my breath into that place, and soften as I exhale. One more breath. And slowly coming back out. Okay. Okay. So releasing the legs. While I'm here with my right leg forward, I'm going to bend the left knee and bring the left foot back. So I'm going to come more now into that 90-90. So with the right shin against the right thigh and the left shin against the left thigh. So one leg is doing an external rotation, one thigh is doing an internal rotation. So back leg is doing an internal rotation. I'm going to kind of take my brain there and really add a little bit more awareness across that internal rotation. So that will kind of pushes my body weight forward over that front leg. And then I'm just going to take a breath or two here, again, coming into that little bit of a outer hip, the right outer hip stretch. If you can come a little bit more into a forward fold over that right shin, go for it. You can bring your elbows onto that, onto the blocks in front of you. If it is possible and it feels okay, you can push that left leg behind you. Oh, you have space. So I'm going to have to shuffle a little bit more forward. If it is possible to extend that left leg back behind you without changing much, the front leg, go ahead and take that left leg behind you. So coming deeper into that pigeon stretch. from that 90-90. Keep that right foot flexed. And then we're going to release that leg and bring it forward. Bring it forward. You can take that right heel a little bit more towards the left buttocks, and you can take the left foot, so you can just bring it in front of that right ankle, or you can take the foot over your right knee, and we're going to turn to the left. So coming into, I can use some blocks to give you a little bit more of a lift. And also you can go back if you feel like, oh, I'm just not gaining enough height here and it doesn't feel nice. You can sit on your blocks. So again, I've taken that block underneath the right heel, so I'm sitting up. So I get a little bit more lift and length. So it doesn't feel like my body is collapsing down. Okay. All right, so come out of the twist and we're gonna do all of that sequence on the other side. So I'm gonna come back onto the hands and knees. Maybe just a couple of cats and cows to get back into the spine. Even if you want to come up into maybe a downward dog, if it feels nice to get up into that downward dog for a breath or two, letting the head hang. If you are recovering from an illness, which was heavy on your chest and gave you a congested head, even doing a pose like downward facing dog or even child's pose might start to feel really difficult to start with, because it pushes all of that pressure into the head again, where your head might feel already quite congested. So you don't have to do downward dog. You can just wait until the head clears a little bit. Okay, so come back onto the hands and knees, and we're going to take the right leg back. And lift the right foot a little bit higher. Breathe across the chest. And then I'm going to take the leg out to the side again, roll the ball, the entirety of the sole of the foot onto the floor. And then if this, like with the hands on the smaller side of your blocks is pulling on the inner seam of your legs, you can take your hands a little bit higher. Okay. Entirely up to you. Again, we're using all of these props and everything to make the practice as accessible as you need it to be where you are. And then we're going to push the hips back towards that left heel and come forward just a few times. Back and come forward. So that's a few more times. And then you can take that right arm and reach it forward. So you push back and come forward. Open the chest out to the right. Nice. And then turn towards the ground and go all the way back. Again, just gauge, see how this feels in your body. 3 more times. Reach forward, open the chest out, turn towards the ground, really using the core to turn, and then sit all the way back. 2 more. Oh, concentrating on that right kidney all the way to the right side of the lung, behind you, behind your chest. Nice. Next time as you go back, just keep pushing your hips back towards that left heel. Again, just before, maybe take the blocks back a little bit and see how this feels here. And stay in that forward fold. And then you can slide a block underneath your left buttocks if you need it to find your body coming upright. You might not need it. You can just maybe sit behind that left heel. Lift and lengthen your chest, and I'm going to slide my hand onto towards that right ankle. Keep turning my chest away from that right leg and right in your seam, and come back up. You can do that a few times, and then maybe just hold this position again, finding a bit more length across the spine. My concentration this time is that left sacroiliac, left shoulder, all the way to the left fingers. You might get a nice inner thigh stretch on that right side. Come back up the center. So what I'm going to do now, maybe take that block from underneath that left sitting bone out. You can bring the sitting bones down. If it means you have to release your left foot and bring the foot a little bit closer towards the inside of that right knee, go ahead and do so. If you need a block underneath your left knee, again, go ahead and put a block underneath your knee if the knee doesn't come down to the ground. I'm going to take a belt and take it over my right foot. Take a breath or two here. Release the shoulders. I'm going to come forward over. So again, I'm going to use my arms, not overpower, but use the arms to find that rotation. And then gentle tug to bring the chest a bit closer to that right leg. And then just park it where it feels that I am actually getting a stretch, but it's not overpowering. I don't want to be somewhere that my nervous system feels overpowered. I want to be somewhere that I can actually relax in, breathe, and let the body find a little bit of a stretch. With the awareness of the breath in that left kidney towards the left lung. release. Okay, so I'm gonna keep that left leg forward and bring the right leg back. So we're gonna come into that 90 degrees now. Maybe just again, bring the legs into that place and just give it a second or two just for your body to find the shape. You are really paying attention to that internal rotation of that right thigh. So can you bring a little bit more awareness on consciously internally rotating that right thigh, which basically maybe lifts that right sitting bone up a little bit and pushes your body weight forward over that left leg. And you're going to continue with that forward positioning, maybe taking a couple of blocks in front of you, elbows come onto it, and keep turning your chest towards that left shin. Really grounding the outer hip, the left outer hip here. You can stay here and just take a few breaths, or you can see if that right leg, so keeping your left leg where it is, if that right leg can kind of go back. Okay? If not, that's okay. Keep turning your chest towards the front. Lovely. Couple of more breaths. Then I'm going to bring that back leg forward again and coming into a twist. So I'm going to take the block underneath the left sitting bone, bring that left heel in. You can take the right foot in front of that knee and then turn to the right, or you can go over your right ankle over your left knee. You still gonna go turn to the right, bring the elbow over the knee. Again, twists are quite tricky, especially if you have a restriction for the breath. So you can add a little bit of a roundy shape as you breathe in. Access your lungs in the back of your body, and then on the exhale, you can go for the twist. If you need to sigh at any point, let the breath do what it needs to do. Lovely. Take one more breath. And then release. Okay. Again, last time, you can come up into your downward dog if it feels okay, or half down dog, or even child's pose if it feels okay. And then let's go all the way down onto the belly. One way or another, slowly roll your body onto the belly. Take your hands underneath your head, make a pillow. Press the hip bones and the pubic bone down to the floor. Maybe just lift your feet off of the floor and then bring them back down. Repeat this a couple of times. Hip bones, pubic bone, press down. Toes maybe lift up and then back down. Repeat. Just get the glutes, get the hammies and the back of the leg kind of engaged. If it feels okay, if it doesn't feel like you're lifting an 80-kilogram weight. And then add a little bit of an upper body into this. So maybe just keep the feet lifted, take your hands back, roll the shoulders back, press down a little bit, come into little baby cobra, and then come all the way down. Again, roll the shoulders all the way back and together. Feel that posterior connection. Again, after this practice, if this feels okay, you can repeat it a few more times. Little baby cobra, maybe lifting the feet up and all the way down. 2 more. Last one. You can push up and higher. Then turn your head from side to side. I'm going to come to the end of the practice, and you can end the practice seated or come back onto your shavasana or with the bolster underneath you. Choose your option. Again, you can finish it off with exactly where you started from, or you can come up to a seated position. Maybe just place your hands somewhere on your body. And take a deep breath in. Sigh it out of your mouth. 2 more. Let the body soften. Let your face soften, let your jaw soften. Let your throat soften, shoulders. Relax your chest and your belly. Relax your hips, your thighs, your knees, your shins, your ankles, and your feet. Just go through your body parts one more time. Let's go from the crown of the head into the face, the throat, the shoulders, the chest, the belly, the back of the body, the arms. The pelvis, the hips, the thighs, the knees, the shins, the ankles, and the feet. And as you allow the body to soften, just notice how this practice impacted you. Notice if this is what your body needed. Maybe you need to repeat this practice 2, 3 more times. Not obviously in a row. Within the next few days. Just to come back to the body. I will offer another more, maybe hopefully energetic practice on the 27th. a practice that kind of gets us to move a little bit more, maybe to use the body in a stronger way on the 27th of December, just before the new year. So it would be a good practice to actually kind of round off the year. So if you do have time, please do join me for the practice that will kind of round off the year for us. We'll maybe work through a few of the reflections of the end of the year, and maybe looking forward to what we can bring the energy, what type of energy we'd like to bring into the new year. Okay. Thank you so much for practicing. I hope if you did have any type of illness, or if you just wanted to feel a little bit more grounded before Christmas, I hope that you found this practice useful. Do let me know if you do get to practice it. Do let me know how it helped. All right, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the day, and I shall see you soon.